I'm Tony.
I'm Eric.
We are the sons of San Fernando.
We've been friends for over 40 years.
And grew up together in the San Fernando Valley.
These are the stories of our experiences as adventurous Gen X latchkey slackers from back in the day.
And don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. You know
just
what?
abbreviating it. You know what? The younger generation, they abbreviate everything.
You are so
They abbreviate everything. Everything's down to like they use.
Can I tell you what I have beef with?
Please.
I have beef with acronyms. Speaking of abbreviations,
Just
I
say
hate
the,
acronyms.
Just say the fucking words. Just say the terms. Say the
Acronyms
thing.
make me feel like I'm in a cult.
Yeah.
I mean, you fuck acronyms.
They make you feel like you're in the cult.
A cult, not the cult. The
Okay.
cult's good.
Okay.
A cult's bad.
Okay. I
Not
follow.
Definite article cult is good. Indefinite article cult is
A
bad.
cult, the god.
Yeah.
Wow, going
so
deep.
I'm going grammar. I'm going all full grammar.
You're FG.
I'm going Kelsey grammar.
You're going Frasier.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
full Kelsey
Full
grammar
Frasier.
on your ass. Yeah. No, I don't even know what our topic. I have no idea what the subject is that we're talking.
Well, it's actually Frasier. It's TV.
All right, we're talking about
But
television.
but it's not television in terms of shows. It's actually in terms of the types of.
Do you remember the television you had when you were a child?
Well, I didn't own a television when I was a child. My
CRT.
parents did.
CRT. That's what they were
the
called.
cathode ray
Tube.
Yeah, they were chunky in the rear.
They had big asses and they were heavier than shiz.
Yeah, they may have only been okay. So what's screen
Okay,
size?
I
How
think
big?
in
How
our
big was
living
yours?
room-
How big was
In
yours
our
growing
living
up?
room when I was a kid,
Yeah.
we maybe had a 20 to 18 inch, maybe like
yeah.
an 18-inch TV.
Right.
It was small. It was not
But
big.
so the
but they
dia-
were like all wood framed. It had like a veneer. It had a wood veneer on the outside.
Yeah, it was a console. It was a piece of furniture.
And then there were dials.
Yeah, okay. They had knobs.
They had an on-off knob that was a clunk off.
A pull to turn
Well, mine
on.
didn't have a pull. Mine had a turn to turn on.
Okay, we had a
It was a
pull.
pot.
We had a boonk to turn on and a push to turn off.
Okay, so ours was a potentiometer that you turned with a click, and then once it turned on, it was now the volume.
The volume. We had that later on, and then we had
Yeah.
two dials, right?
Two dials. You had UHF
And
VHF.
Unbelievable. And how many channels do we have on the upper knob?
Well, you had two. Well, at least in Los
13.
Angeles, we had 2, 4. Well, that's not 13 because there was stuff in between that we didn't have.
That-
there was no 3.
Right.
There was no 3.
There was no 3.
You know
But-
what 3 was? When you plugged in your Atari,
Yeah.
you
You
picked it
could-
up on channel 3
because there was no
because it was
signal on there,
modulated. Right, it was a modulated signal.
But the knob still had 13 positions.
All right,
you
but
just
that's
didn't
not-
get. Okay, we had channel 2.
Yeah, stop with the positions because we weren't getting anything on those channels. 2,
I'm just saying that's
4,
what was on the
5,
knob.
no 6, 7, 9, 11, and 13. That's 7 channels. We
Yeah,
had 7
7
total
channels.
possibilities, except
That's all
for
you had to
UHF.
watch.
Except for UHF, PBS.
Starring.
No, UHF had some good shit. What did we have on UHF? We had Sesame Street. We had
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
the Electric Company.
PBS was on
PBS.
UHF, yeah.
PBS was on UHF. Yeah, all of the
But now,
free shit.
nowadays, you've got
No commercials.
Netflix. You've got fucking
Nowadays
Amazon
it's
Prime. You
bullshit.
got all
Yeah.
that shit. You had a billion fucking things to watch back then.
and you get
you didn't have
crippled-
much.
You get crippled by the options. Now
Right.
we I sit down with Zoe on the couch. We're like, "What do you want to watch?" And it's like it's so much anxiety.
And by the way, if you wanted to change the channel,
Yeah.
it was work.
Yeah.
You had to get up.
you had to get your ass up
and go.
But
turn
here's the
the
thing:
fucking knob.
you and I, we were the remote controls because our fathers would send us to the television to change.
Well, my dad would first send me to the kitchen and make him another whiskey and water.
Did your dad drink
And
whiskey
then-
and water?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I made some good whiskey
Interesting.
waters.
You
Or
used to
grab my.
make. Would you make them for him?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never sip the booze.
You didn't sip
I
the
wasn't a
booze.
booze sipper. No, I would
Wow.
make him.
He
Yeah.
would ask you to make his booze for him.
Yeah, when I was like 3. He'd send me in there. Go get me some Jim Beam and water. No,
Your dad
he
did
didn't.
not speak like that.
No,
By the
my
way,
dad- my dad-
never.
Completely
Would your
opposite
dad
of that.
ever sound like that?
And he didn't drink Jim Beam either. What did he drink? He was Early Times.
Early times.
Early Times. He was an
Wow.
Early Times whiskey drinker. But I digress.
You do digress.
But the
You also
TVs
cross dress, which is nice.
only on Thursdays. But they were big pieces of furniture, our TVs.
Yeah.
And the speakers were built in and not very good. So
no, they were shitty.
But that's how we watched
Wide
Happy
World of
Days
Sports.
and
Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
What in the wild world of sports
is going on here?
I love those TVs because they were immovable furniture pieces.
They weighed 8 billion fucking pounds. Once they
It was
were
like they had their own gravity.
Oh, yeah.
They had their own ecosystems and
once they got moved into
atmospheres.
the house by like 17 movers, you couldn't.
No.
Honey, we
Move it
need to
to the
move
left.
the TV a little bit to the.
No, they were fixtures.
Honey, we can't do it. It's too goddamn heavy.
They were installed in your living room, and that was it.
It was
and
like
they were
if you
wood
wanted to
veneer.
move Stonehenge,
Did
you couldn't
also
do
have
it.
we also had a console stereo that was
Yeah,
a piece of furniture as well.
Okay, so this
it was
thing,
in our entryway.
This thing was we had the same idea.
8 feet long.
Probably 7, 8 feet
Two
long.
built-in speakers, stereo speakers
On either side.
sliding covers of the speakers. Did
Okay,
you have those? We had those.
We didn't have sliding covers on the speakers, but on the top, it was like a wooden
lift
top, and it
with
would
a-
lift
with a
up on
pneumatic-
hinges.
with a pneumatic little holder thing
Yep.
that would push it up. Yeah,
And then you would have the turntable,
yeah.
and we only had I think we had 45, 33 and a third, and 78.
78. And we also had, did you also have the auto dropper? So you
Yes.
could put multiple records
Multiple
on,
records, and it would
just
drop it.
when it would go to the next. So it would lift up, the arm would lift up, go back, it would drop the next record, and the
But
record
most
and the arm would go back.
importantly, it did have a place for you to plug in headphones.
Oh, it did.
Because when I was younger,
Right, ours did too.
and I was listening when Prince put out
1999.
well,
Purple Rain.
I had
Should I
a
just keep
single.
guessing?
Sure. Well, okay. No, I'll let you guess.
Okay.
What single?
Little Red Corvette.
Would I have to listen on headphones?
Darling Nikki.
Bingo. I had Darling Nikki on a B-side of a 45 on my parents' giant 8,000-pound console stereo that I
things are
had.
cool.
Yeah, that I had to listen to on headphones because they heard me listen to
You
Darling
had it on
Nikki.
a single? You had
Yeah,
Darling,
a single.
You
I
didn't
had a
have the
45.
full
No,
you didn't have the
I
full
had a
LP
40 fucking 5 of Darling
Purple
Nikki.
Rain? It was on Purple Rain. Why didn't you have the whole LP?
I probably
it's
did,
the greatest
but
album of all time.
But I was listening to Prince on this giant piece of furniture, but everything back then was
Piece of furniture.
It was huge. All of
I know, we had the same thing.
everything was so much bigger back in those days.
Yeah,
So-
but the screen, so our TVs were huge, but the screen on the TV was tiny. It was 18 inches. It was ridiculous.
yeah. And then oh my God. It just made me think of like early on. These days on our phones we have we can shoot video.
Yeah. And it was good.
And we can shoot 4K.
Yeah. And it's good.
What did we shoot on back there? What did our parents shoot on?
Oh,
No,
Super 8,
no.
Super 8.
Super 8. That
Yeah.
had no sound.
With the light. Did your dad have the light that was the surface of the sun?
The sun gun. By the way,
Is that what they're called?
yeah, sun gun. Well, that's what we call it, the sun
okay.
gun. But they rated the sun gun in candle power. They really, that was it. Like how many candles?
That's so medieval.
My dad had one that was 8 billion candle power. So imagine it's the Whipplesman household.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day
morning.
in the two-story house.
Yeah.
And we're coming from the upstairs, right?
Right.
The kids are coming. We got our robes on.
And he's
we're
like,
looking-
hold on.
He's like,
gotta
wait a
get
second.
everything
And he's
ready.
got the Super 8. And the Super 8 was a little reel of like
Oh,
tape.
absolutely, yeah.
It was like a round film.
It's a real film.
Grainy as fuck,
And
no
it did
sound.
make that
but
sound.
you had to get some light
That
on
was
it.
pretty
So
good.
Dad had the
sun gun.
The sun gun.
Yeah.
And he would turn the sun gun on, and the reason it was called the sun gun is because immediately you are fucking blinded.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was the brightness level is beyond.
I remember being like 5 years old at the top of the stairs on Christmas morning, and Dad's like, "Oh, it's no, you see the Christmas tree? It's all lit up at the bottom of the stairs." Like, I'm ready to come down. Dad's, wait a second, I'm going to shoot
Yeah,
the and then blammo!
Yeah, well,
He hits you with a billion lumens, and you can't see, and you're falling down the stairs, head over, heels over ass, and then
you're blind,
and then you're trying to open presents, and you're squinting.
you're still
because
blind because you're still blind.
I'm still blind to
And
this
he's still got
day.
the sun gun
50
out.
years later.
Here's the thing. I think that they did damage our vision
My retina's permanently scarred.
from the fucking sun guns.
Speaking of things that were corded.
Yeah.
Like had a connection.
remote.
I will never the remote. You were the first You know what I'm going to talk
The
about?
VHS player.
No, the Beta. You had the Betamax,
No,
right?
I had a VHS.
Was it
wasn't a Beta.
VHS?
I didn't have Beta. I had Beta. It was a top loader. It was
Yeah,
a,
you
it
had
was
top
a-
loader.
It was a and the
You-
buttons were on the front, and they were push down lever buttons.
Push down lever
They weren't
buttons.
push inners.
And
They
you
were
would-
push downers.
You would put your tape in and
sham it
it down and sham on.
You would sham. You know, by the way, Michael Jackson did not make up the Shamone. Have I told you this?
No,
Mavis Staples.
Stavis
He
Maples.
took-
But who invented the sham? Wow.
I don't know, but that's a great product. I got to get me
is.
some ShamWows. I love the ShamWow.
It really does what it says it does.
Totally does.
Yeah.
It's an amazing product. I want them right now.
got
Why
wow
don't
in
I
it.
have a shitload of ShamWows?
Well, I need to take a break and go order some of those right now.
I know,
mean,
because I'm going to
seriously.
forget. All right, what were we talking about?
We were on.
The VHS player.
VHS. So you
Top
had
loader.
top loader, and your VHS
Like
player.
Kurt Loader, same era.
Say, did you just
MTV View. I MTV View, yeah. Kurt Loader, MTV News. He was so stoic.
He was
He was
stiff.
so stoic.
He kind of had like a stick up his butt. He was no Tabitha Soren.
No.
He was
Or
no Martha
Goodman.
Quinn
Martha
or Mark
Quinn
Goodman.
or Mark Goodman, yeah. That's
Or
the only-
Alan.
Rickman.
What? He was not a VJ.
No, Alan
Curry. Adam Curry.
Adam Curry.
He had a big mane of hair.
Very good.
There were a
very
lot
good.
of good. And Nina Blackwood.
Oh, Nina Blackwood was great with the voice.
She had like that.
and the
She
hair.
like she smoked 1,000 packs of cigarettes, and then
She's great.
Martha Quinn was like the really like
cutie,
bubbly
yeah.
cutie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Mark
would-
Goodman had my hair.
He borrowed your hair, like
Yeah, it was my hair, and also very similar to Brian May's hair.
that's right, kind of
Very, very similar.
puffy lard. But
Puffy lard? Puffy lard ass?
puffy large. But that was one of the things we would tape on the
That's what
on the
people
VHS
called me in
back
high
then.
school, is puppy lard ass.
Puppy lard ass.
Yeah.
PLA.
Yeah,
PLA.
PLA.
Hey, PLA.
I'm
Puppy
over
lard
it
ass.
now, but yeah, they did.
You're
yeah.
not over it.
No, it still
Admit
upsets me when
Yeah.
I hear it.
You
Puppy
still go
lard.
to therapy.
Puppy
for that.
lard ass. Yeah.
But-
PLA.
We would record. At least I would record in my early VHS tapes. I would record MTV.
Oh, of
'Cause
course.
MTV about out in '81.
We had a from the 70s an entire episode of Saturday Night Live from the 70s that we recorded with our VHS player.
But the corded remote was the best because they had the corded remote on the
We
thing,
did
and it was
have
like
that.
2 feet long. It wasn't long
Yeah,
enough
they
to sit
said-
on the couch, and you're
yeah.
like, how do you? What
Yeah.
good's a remote if you have to like
You
sit
have to
in
sit
front,
in
right
front of the TV.
to
I wore
do
it out with Purple Rain. I can tell you right now. It was rewinding.
You wore what out? Oh, the remote. Sorry.
Oh man, I don't know how we had like a very early version of a VHS, but there weren't a lot around at that time, and it seemed like that was going to put everybody was like, oh, VHS players are going to put
Oh, yeah.
movie theaters out of business. Nobody's going to go see movies anymore because you can rent them. Where are you going to rent them? At the video house. That was the other thing that happened, is going to rent videotapes, man.
Oh
Rent
man,
movies.
and I worked at that place. I worked
You
at
worked
the
at Music Plus.
Music Plus. We
Yeah.
rented videotape rentals were like the biggest fucking business.
It was
Everybody's
great.
renting them.
We would
Everybody.
go get a giant thing of Red Vines, microwave popcorn,
Yeah, some and some milk duds
and rent 16 candles.
Yeah,
and-
on VHS.
On VHS.
And
yeah.
then you would leave the VHS in your car on a hot summer day. And it would
unrewound.
melt.
Unrewound.
Be kind, rewind. I mean, come on. Like we had those signs all
Was
over
that
the
the
store.
end? Was that the Music
that
Plus
was the
logo?
thing,
Be kind, rewind?
Because people would bring it back.
And then you'd
dude.
have to rewind it.
We'd have to stick in the rewinder.
Did you have like an ultra fast rewinder though?
No, they were slow as fuck. That's why we said be kind,
Ours
rewind.
was so
It took
slow
forever.
too, because who wanted to do that? He's like, we got to return, dude. You could never get those things back on time.
That's
That
why
was the problem.
tapes. That's why tape. You had to go. You had to roll it back all the time. That's why we thought when Laserdisc came out that was going to be the shit.
That was garbage.
it
Nobody
was
used those.
no. Who bought fucking?
I never had.
Laserdisc?
I didn't know anybody with laser dicks.
A laser-
Laser dicks. I don't know anyone
By
with
the
a
way-
laser dick.
That sounds like the coolest thing ever.
Laser dick.
By the way, my
friend
my buddy Frank, he's got a laser dick. Oh, I gotta meet Frank.
Yeah, but I don't think women would be interested in the laser dick. Frankly, I don't think so.
you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right.
It's more men talking about the
But
laser dick.
later on, after the Super 8 video recorders
Yeah.
that our parents had, I remember you had, what was your the video the camcorder you had that we
Oh
used
yeah.
for
Well,
everything?
first we had the one with the full-sized VHS tape that went in that you put on your shoulder. That
Yeah, there
weighed
was like
6,000 pounds.
It was like a professional, like
it looked professional, but it wasn't professional. But it had that look. It looked like you were in, Groundhog Day. What's his name?
But then you graduated one that had like the smaller tapes.
Yeah, the little mini eights, or the
mini
super
eights,
high
yeah.
eights.
High eights.
Yeah.
We shot we shot
stop motion animation. We did a
everything-
bunch of stop motion animation on a grease board. That was fun.
We never stopped. Everything we did, we had to shoot and capture on video. Like it was
a
the
lot of
biggest thing
lip-syncing.
back in the 80s. We did that. Everything we did, we had to capture.
Well, because it was a thing. It was like we have this option now to make these home movies in a way.
I remember we did like a lot of stop motion. We're on the bikes and shooting
They were
basketball.
good. They were not bad.
Yeah.
They were not good.
No, but they weren't. They weren't bad.
They weren't. They were
But
maybe
they were
bad.
big and like everything was big.
But then the little ones were better. And then it wasn't until the 90s that they got the actual straight to a hard drive inside of the.
Yeah, that was. But by then, I don't know. It was more fun when we had the big clunky ones.
It's crazy because I just bought one of those to shoot some video footage of Zoe's rehearsals, and it's like from the It's not even from the 90s. It's from like the early 2000s. It's not even the early 2000s. It's like 2009. Okay, the early aughts, the late aughts of the 2000s, and it's a Sony Handycam, which is the top of the line stuff. And I just bought one. It was like $150. Not even. It was $80 that I got it off of eBay. And so I took a bunch of footage with this thing to see what it looked like. Because I was trying to create a kind of grainier, weirder. It is garbage.
Yeah,
the footage
crap,
is
right?
so bad. I mean, it's if you want it to look bad, that's what you've got. But it's so bad.
We were talking about video, but if we go back to audio for a moment,
yes, cassette tapes. Sony Walkman.
I have two.
I preempted you.
You got it.
You have Sony Walkman?
No,
still?
I'm just saying that was the shit. Sony Walkman.
I never had a Sony. I had a fake Walkman.
I had a Sanyo.
Oh yes, Sanyos, right?
And then I did get a Sony with the one with the orange headphone,
You
the
did?
fuzzy. Yes.
Oh, I never had one of those.
I had to get one of my own.
I never had one of those.
I saved up my money from mowing the lawn or trimming
Or
the
blowing
lawn
the
or
mow.
blowing the mow. Yeah, I did whatever I needed to do to get money back in the day. The back alley of the donut shop. I don't know, whatever it took.
Blowing the dawn.
Yeah.
Blowing the mow. Mowing the lawn.
The Walkman was the shit. You had your cassette, you threw that
Never had
in,
one.
and you had your personal jam.
Did it have an
action.
auto reverse though?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't have to take that thing out, flip it over.
No, auto reverse, and then that got replaced by the thing that I probably wore out the most, which was in the car. We had the Sony Discman when we got to CDs.
Oh yeah, those were dumb because it would skip.
They would skip all the time, and in the car you had to use the cars weren't ready for that technology,
Right.
So you had to have the cassette adapter.
Oh,
Remember that?
God, that was
You
the
would- you would
worst
stick
fucking
that,
thing
You would
ever.
stick that cassette
Those things were the
thing
worst.
that had a wire that came out to your disc
butthole.
and then if you wired it into your butthole, it was a lot better reception.
Right, you could get good reception from your butthole.
But if you didn't, and you went right into the Sony Discman, and you're
Dixman.
driving the Dixman, it would skip like. You'd be driving. You would hit the slightest little bump at the
Yeah.
freeway, and it would skip.
I know they were so.
And we'd go back to
stupid.
the beginning of the fucking
Discman
song.
was dumb. I think I had it for a short period. I did have one, but they were just so useless because they skipped all the time.
It was bad technology.
CDs were a weird kind of interim thing. It's kind of like laser discs, very similar. I mean, but CDs really did take over for a long time. Still, people collect CDs. What kind of lunatic, by the way, is collecting CDs? Like, I totally understand collecting LP vinyl because it's big.
Yeah.
You get pictures. You have inserts inside the sleeves.
It's got a
where you
particular
can-
sound to it, the analog
pops,
sound. It pops,
cracks,
crackles. Yeah.
It's warm. It's got an automatic compression that happens that's very pleasing to our ears. But collecting CD, what? Psychopath. But I see people doing this. Why would you do that?
I heard something the other day that actually really rang true about Gen X, and that is that why we're so angry about music.
Or in general.
In general, but partially about music is because we grew up and we had to buy everything on vinyl, and then we bought everything on cassette.
Yeah.
And then we bought everything on CD.
Yeah.
And then we bought all the MP3s.
Yeah. Oh, right. We had to buy fucking
MP3s. We had to buy all that.
Oh, that's right.
Only
store it
to
on the
then
goddamn
stream it out.
iPod, and now we have to stream everything.
We've had to buy everything that we wanted to hear like 5 fucking times.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And boomers had to buy 8 tracks.
Boomers still have their LP collections on vinyl.
Yeah, you know what? They don't give a shit.
They
They're
still
still
have
on
their-
that.
fuck
Yeah, they never.
boomers.
Yeah, fuck.
What assholes. They used all the resources, had everything perfect. You know, everything was great for them. They had the 50s. They had, those guys are assholes. I'm sick of
stinky
boomers.
assholes.
I'm sick of boomers. I wish they would all die. Like everybody over a
Well,
certain age.
they're about to.
Like if we could just say, okay, if you're above, well, I mean, this would include the Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, because they're boomers. Those guys are boomers.
Yeah.
But I will say, Mick doesn't carry himself, especially Keith. Keith, maybe Mick does. Charlie Watts did, but he's dead already, so that's a different story. But Keith doesn't carry himself like a boomer. Oh, maybe in some ways.
Keith's unique, though.
Keith is unique.
Do you think Keith ever shot any Super 8?
Here's the thing. When we were children, we were like, Keith was old. And it was like, oh, Keith Richards, he's not going to make it another week.
I remember.
And then he fell out of a tree.
Speaking of working back in the days, we had vinyl and cassettes.
Yeah.
I was working at the record store. And
Keith came in.
He never came in. But we
fell out of a tree.
That might have happened. But we had a Rolling Stones ticket sale for the Steel Wheels tour in 1989.
People lining up outside
People
on
lining
the
up
street,
like crazy.
sleeping over.
And you know why they were lining up in 1989 for
saw
the
that
Steel
tour.
Wheels tour?
Why? They thought Keith would die.
Everybody thought it was the
last
Stones'
tour.
last tour.
Stones' last tour in 1989.
Fucking 9.
I saw it. Coliseum was there, 10th row with Aaron Bronston. It was amazing. Amazing.
You know who
Love
opened?
that show. Guns N' Roses, and then before Guns N' Roses was the Cult of Personality. Whatchamacallits? What's their name?
Living Color.
Living Color opened.
With
yeah.
who sang?
Hussein. No, there was no
Who
Hussein.
sang? No,
Listen,
Saddam
my
was
people
not there.
were not opening.
No. Who was the singer of Living Color? Not in Living Color. That was the TV
It was
show.
Hairboy.
Hairboy.
What was his name?
Corey Glover. I don't know why I know that, but in 1989,
Yeah.
in the days
That was
of
a
cassettes
great
and
tour.
we thought the Stones. We gotta see the
No
Stones
way
to
in
be
hell
the last thing.
Mick Jagger and Keith Richards are going to be able to perform beyond 1989.
And now it's 2024,
And they
they're
are 81 years
still
old.
Fucking and by the way, the Stones, 2050, guarantee you they will still be playing.
No, they'll be long dead. They're going to
No.
be 2050,
no,
50.
No, you know why?
Why?
They're aliens.
No, they're boomers. They're just going to use up all of the resources until there's nothing left for the rest of us. This is the thing about the boomers. This is what they do. They use up everything. They use up the booze, the drugs. They did it all. This is why Gen Xers are like, everything's been done.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me to do. I want no responsibility. I take no responsibility for all the bullshit that's going on. I have no interest. I'm not going to run for office. I'm not going to be civically minded or involved. I'm going to watch you all. We're all kind of really very much anarchists. I think inherently in the Gen X vibe is an anarchist sensibility.
I just wish the boomers would have left us some lewds.
Yeah. Lewds would have been good. Thanks for listening to the Sons of San Fernando.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button in your favorite podcast app so you don't miss an episode.
Drop us a review. We'd love to hear from you.
If you'd like to support the Sons of San Fernando, the best way is to share the show.
We'll catch you on the next episode.